Welcome everyone, my name is Joshua Adegoke and I'm a high school debater, and today I'm going to be informing you on how to create an effective high school debate speech. So you're probably wondering, what is debate, or what is an effective debate speech, or what is the correlation between the two? Now, the most effective term you need to know is debate. Debate has tons of different synonyms associated with it, such as discourse, clash, discussion, argumentative, pretty much anything that has some sort of opposition. And so all you need to know about debate is that there's usually two opposing sides, and they're opposing each other because they have two different viewpoints. So they're trying to uphold two different standings. And again, creating an effective high school debate speech can allow a connection between the audience and the debater's views. Because again, a debater's views is only as important as their argument. And again, the argument is very expressed and very emphasized in a debater's speech. So writing an effective debate speech allows for these four critical things: organization, persuasion, research, and critical thinking. Now, all four of these things can be used in real-world analysis in real-world time, and all of them will really help you succeed in life. So essentially, you're probably wondering, debate is very, very important, and you don't want to mess up this debate speech. So how do you create an effective one? Now, don't worry, I'm going to take all of your stress away by making it very, very simple. You know how in the beginning we talked about debate being a synonym of many words? Well, one of those words was persuasion. So a debate speech is not so different from a persuasion speech or a typical average persuasion speech that you may use in your everyday life. And just know that they also use three critical things: organization, research, and persuasion. And that's all you need to do with a debate speech. Now, of course, there are other steps associated with it, but those are the three main steps you have to worry about. Now, as we lean into that statement, let's look at the first step you have to do to create an effective high school debate speech. The first step is analyze. You have to analyze a resolution or the topic. This can be done in three different ways. One, this can be done with having general research and general knowledge on the topic and background research. Two, it can be done by defining key words that are either in the resolution or associated with the topic. And three, you can also ask others and their opinions on the topic, because having different viewpoints and standpoints on the topic allows for more communication between you and your audience. Because again, you having your own viewpoints on the topic doesn't really suffice to connection with the audience. Meanwhile, if you have tons of different viewpoints, it allows for more connection. We'll then lead on to step 2, which is outline. Now, as you see from this blank piece of paper, this is actually a debate speech's best friend, because you can just fill in the blank and add tons of outlines, and you have tons of different ways of outlines. But here's the most effective outline. You have an introduction, you have your stance, you have your key definitions. You'll then offer any frameworks or values you want to uphold. You'll have 3 main points, and then you'll have you're ended off with a conclusion. Now, here's the third step, the fun part: filling it in. You're going to fill in everything in your outline, and don't worry, I'm going to show you how. So let's start with the first step, which is the introduction. So the introduction is where you introduce yourself. You pretty much state who you are, and you offer any credibility associated with yourself. For instance, I offered my name, and I offered the fact that I was a high school debater, which offers some more connection and credibility towards myself, because again, it would make sense that a debater has good experience in how to create an effective high school debate speech. Then you can also add quotes, questions, and even jokes to offer more connection with your audience. Then you'll have your stance and definitions. You'll first offer what stance you are, if you're affirmative, if you're negative, if you're supporting something, if you're against something. And you'll offer any definitions to offer clarification within your speech and within the general topic of itself. Then you'll have framework. So framework is actually very simple. You'll talk about your key values, such as safety, justice, security, and well-being, or anything of that sort, etc. You can even talk about generally hunger or stopping hunger or anything of that sort. Just make sure your value is a general term, or just a general thing you're trying to uphold with your main points. And so this then leads to the verb uses. So hopefully this explains a little bit more. So you typically want to have some verb uses, such as you want to maximize safety, or maximize security, or minimize oppression, or minimize, hunger. But the thing is, if you just state that your value or your framework is safety, it gets very confusing, because the audience doesn't really know if you're trying to help people get more safety, if you're trying to take it away from them. That's why offering verb uses clarifies any questions the audience may have. Then you'll have your contention. Now, there's 3 things you need to know about the contention. There's 1, it's the longest point in your entire case. It's the longest thing. Two, there's actually 3 main points that you should have. And finally, we're still going to stick to that rule of 3, in which there's 3 main things you have to offer in a contention. In a contention, you offer a claim, a warrant, and an impact. The claim is pretty much the claim you want to offer. For instance, if you said that cats require less work than dogs, that would be your claim. If you have a warrant, that's the argument that supports your claim, and the reason why your claim is true. For instance, if you said that cats do not need to be walked, or they take 4 less hours per week of care, then that would support your claim because you're offering some sort of evidence or analysis with it. And finally, you have your impact, and pretty much states about why this statement matters. For this example, we'll continue and states that more people have more time to do more things if they have cats. And again, the impact is very, very important because tons and tons of different analysis papers tend to offer lots of points, but they don't offer an impact. Now let's talk about rhetorical appeals. Now these rhetorical appeals are identification toward persuasion. They allow for communication between yourself and the audience. They offer ethics and credibility, emotions, and logic, which is the 3 rhetorical appeals of pathos, ethos, and logos. And again, as you can see, these appeals can be used to create doubt in the opposing side's speech as well, because if you offer more rhetorical appeals, it offers more doubt for the opposition. Finally, you have a conclusion. All you'll do is 3 basic steps. You'll still following the rule of 3. You'll restate your stance, you'll restate your message, and you'll summarize all your key points all in one, and you want to offer an effective and impactful conclusion. And then finally, you have, after looking at all the benefits, after pretty much outlining or get a good grasp of how to create an effective debate speech, you now want to look at the benefits of completion. You have more intrinsic thinking. You have more formulation of evidence, and you have more analysis on things. And now, congratulations, you were able to create an effective debate speech, and I'm proud of you. I'm happy that I was here on your journey. Here are all the steps you took in creating an effective debate speech.